Wake up! Does that sound annoy you in the morning, or does that inspire you each and every morning? When you get out of bed, are you dreading that next first step, or are you ready to go? Why is morning mindset so important? We're going to break it down on this edition of the ICW, and we can't wait to share with you any longer. Let's go! Let's go.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of the ICW International Championship Workshop, where you have me, Ian Main, out here in Spain, and Jason Justak out in Indiana. And today we have a very interesting show for you guys because it's one that I think is extremely important. The topic that we're going to discuss is extremely important, something that I implement in my own life, and also always look to learn more about how I can make it better in other in all aspects, really. And basically what we're going to do is talk about morning routine, and we have somebody very special to do just that with us today. I want to introduce you all to Tony King out in Texas. He is the vice president of US growth at EXP Realty. And yeah, Jason, I believe that recently you saw something about Tony discussing or talking about the morning mentality, morning routines, and we thought we would just dive in a little bit deeper to try and help everyone that's watching.
We are excited, man. Tony is an ace. And to have him part of our leadership team is phenomenal. And when I saw this, yes, I thought it was such a great piece to really embellish on. So let's bring Tony on. Tony, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my man?
I'm great. I'm great, Jason. Wow, it is it's great to be chatting with you. Obviously, chatting with your incredible audience. Anything I can do to help folks grow or contribute in any way to their business, to their mindset, and to their ultimate growth. I'm all about it.
Well, thank you so very much. And like we were saying too, mindset is so important to Ian and myself. We have that passion that comes out. And so when you got to develop that morning routine, how crucial is that when you're running a business? I wanted to do this interview. I was going to wake up and just come in my pajamas and be like, "Hey, I'm lazy," But I said, hey, for you, Tony, what do you know about morning routine? Why is it important, and how does it strengthen us?
Yeah. So it's interesting. When we talk about a morning routine, I think it depends on what it is that you're referring to, right? So, like for me, for instance, my morning routine and what I recommend takes about 6 hours, right? So you get up at 4, you spend about an hour in the sauna and the red light therapy, and then you do an hour in cold plunge right after that, so that you get your hour in there. Then you do another hour of like working out, and then another hour of meditation, right? And then after your hour of meditation, then you want to go to an hour of journaling, and then, as you can tell, I'm being super facetious here, right?
Yeah.
Because that's been one of that sort of hot buttons, hot tickets that's out there. Is like by the time many people get done with their morning routine, it's already the afternoon. So the reality is, your morning routine should be as short as I'm speaking for myself, right? Look, at the end of the day, you do you like do whatever. I have fun with that stuff, but for me, it's like that time you get up, get your mind right, whatever that means for you. If that's prayer, if that's meditation, if that's reading the Bible or like journaling, whatever your thing is, to put your heart in the right place of like centering yourself on what it is that's the reason why you're here on this planet and doing the things you need to do, looking at photos of your family, whatever that is. But as quickly as possible after that, go to work, right? Go to doing that thing, right? Once your heart's in the right place, your mind's in the right place, I recommend going right into the computer, right into those emails, right into that lead generation, right into whatever that thing is that's going to have the biggest impact on your business, on your growth for the day. that's the time that you want to spend deploying towards your goals, because quite honestly, that's your most effective time, right? When you're getting up before anybody else and you're deploying that time towards the achievement of your goals before the nonsense starts coming in and before the fires start popping up, and I got to run here and put this fire out, run there, put the other fire out, now the kids need that, now then you got to keep running around. But in most cases, if you're deploying your morning routine towards the achievement of your goals, as opposed to spending all morning screwing around, I just call it screwing around because that's really what you're doing. It is a lot of times people's morning routines are um, fancy procrastination, as I call it.
I
And
like
I'm
that.
not about that, right? So it's about taking massive action towards your goal, whatever that is. If it's a fitness goal, if it's a money goal, if it's a financial goal, if it's a business goal, whatever it is, get straight to it. Because the other piece is, and this is why I call it a time waste or procrastination, most morning routines, is because if you count up the time that you spend doing that meditation or doing that whatever it is that you're doing, um, and if you were to actually take that time and deploy it towards your goals and multiply that times every day for a year, can you imagine the impact on your business if you were to spend that time doing one thing versus the other? So, sorry, a little bit of a rant, a little bit of soapbox, a little bit of high horse, but hopefully that's okay.
No, I really really like that one. And it's funny that you started with, your hour cold plunge, your hour meditation, your hour gym, your hour thing, whatever else. And by the time you finish your morning routine, it's lunchtime. Um
Right.
yeah, and there's two things that I did to first start the habit of having an actual morning routine, because I never had one, and I think a lot of people don't have one. They or maybe they do it, but it's just, get up, coffee, take the kids to wherever they need to go, and then get to work. It's not real. It's more like a morning habit than an actual
Responsibility.
routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, there's two things that changed everything, my mornings for me, and one was the book Miracle Mornings by Hal Elrod, I believe it's called.
Mhm. Yep.
First ones I read that years ago. Um, but then the second one for me, and this was really interesting how it came about, was I started it was like a mindset self-discipline program, like a 75 hard thing, if you've ever heard of 75 hard.
Familiar with it?
Um,
Yeah.
and basically for me to get all of what I had to do in a day in, I needed to start early in the morning. And it kind of just like developed from there, where I had to do like a workout early in the morning because it would be impossible for me to do it later on. And then like, yeah, like self awareness, whether that's meditation or visualization and things like that. I had to do all of this in the morning, and it kind of slowly developed into my own morning routine. I wanted to ask you, so for people that don't have specific things that they do in a morning, is there any like maybe three things that you advise people do first thing in the morning, get it done out of the way before they start work?
So I'll give you four.
Okay.
And the first one is going to really dovetail what it is that you just mentioned, right? Getting up early. Like that's the first one. Because the reality is we all have the exact same, and it strikes me as odd many times when people say, I don't have enough time in the day. I don't have enough time to do this. I don't have enough time. When that obviously is a false narrative, right? Because everyone has 24 hours. Like every single person, like no one has more, whether you're Elon Musk or whether you're, whoever, right? Everybody's got the same 24 hours. So it's not a question of how much time you have, it's what you do with that time. While you're sleeping, someone else is working, right? And that really is the difference. You're choosing to spend your time watching Netflix, you're doing whatever, as opposed to deploying them towards your goals. And the easiest way that I tell people to add more time in your day is to wake up earlier, right? And I mentioned that in the training that I did. If you wake up at 8 and all of a sudden I got you waking up at 4, okay, I've just added 4 hours to your day that you didn't have.
Yeah.
Multiply that times 5 days, you've got 20 hours. 20 hours that you just found by actually waking up early. So, you can still sleep in on the weekends if you want to. I don't recommend it, but hey, you certainly can, right? So, certainly waking up early, that's a big one. The next piece, as I mentioned, is sort of structuring your mind, right? Whatever it is, if it's spiritual for you, if it's family for you, if it's like whatever it is, find that thing to sort of get in that zone. Shouldn't be, in my opinion, you asked me, right? No more than like 10, 15 minutes, right? It doesn't take all freaking day, right? Take 10, 15 minutes, like soak it in, like get your gratitude, like your whole thing. And then number three is caffeine. right? Caffeine's a wonder drug, right? It completely changed the world, right? It was the invention of caffeine, or discovery, I should say, of caffeinated beverages that sparked the industrial revolution. It sparked I mean, the world that we live in now was based on caffeine. I don't care what you say, right? So caffeinate, yeah, caffeine. I got like three or four different types here already. So caffeinate. And then get to work. But number four is to get to work, right? So you do those things. If you get up early, you center yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, and then you take some caffeine, right, which is going to increase your alertness, increase focus, all that stuff, and then you take your butt to work. You do those four things, and you're unstoppable for the rest of the day. Period. Don't care what you say, hands down.
I love it. Yeah, and it's so true. And especially when you say go to work, go there, execute everything you're going to plan, right? Plan it out, execute. Execution is so cool and it's so keen because we could put it in our head, hey, I'm going to do this, do this, do this, do this. But if we're not executing, we're not going to be able to work, like you said.
That's big. And if I can add one more, can I get five? So
Yeah, go
what
for
one more is planning the night before, right?
it.
And go to bed
Yes.
early. Is that six? I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm not counting anymore, right? So like the night before is so important, so critical for what you do the next day. So the night before, you want to plan like, okay, what is it that I'm going to do tomorrow during this work block? Like decide now, right? You don't decide what time you're going to get up in the morning. You decide the night before. You don't decide what you're going to do in the morning. You decide that the night before for two reasons. Number one, and they've done studies, they've done research on this. When you plan out what you're going to do in the morning, a lot of times your brain, your subconscious is thinking on that stuff all night long. Like it's planning, it's helping you execute even while you're sleeping so that you're more productive during that time, whether you know it or not. That's one thing. The other piece is that it leads you right into the execution phase as opposed to, if you're starting work at 4, 5, 6, whatever time you actually get to it, as opposed to spending the first hour gathering your thoughts and figuring out what's the highest and best use of your time and sort of becoming strategic in it. You go straight to execution. And again, now you spend that entire first focus block on execution. Again, you're unstoppable.
Yep. You
And
you
it's
have the plan. So yeah, you don't have to sit down and write it out after you do your morning routine. And yeah, it's phenomenal too. Yeah,
it,
good additions on those.
it's like I know that you said there was like scientific studies on it, but this is my non-scientific take on it. When you plan the night before, when you were a kid, I still do it, I'm not gonna lie. When it comes up to like Christmas time and it's the night before and you can't sleep, or maybe you're going on vacation tomorrow and you know it, and you're just like thinking about it non-stop. And if maybe your whole life, or for the last year, or whatever time it is, you struggle to get up in the mornings. We've all been there. We know what that's like. But when you know you're going on vacation tomorrow, or you're going on a trip somewhere, you get up like with no alarm and you're ready to go, and you're just switched on. It's like the exact same thing when you're planning your day. I, I'm taking it to one extreme, right? But when you plan for work the next day, you know exactly what you're going to do. You've planned every little thing out, even your little morning routines, whether that's meditate, prayer, or read, or whatever it is. You wake up, like you said, your subconscious is already working on it. You wake up and you're ready to go. It works. That's the theory behind it. I always use like the little kid before Christmas thing. It works, and
100%.
the exact same thing happens with us when we plan the day before. So, yeah. Those 4 plus 2 points are really good for morning routine. And for me, I don't know. I just think that the morning routine is so powerful, and it's something that everybody needs to do because it really, really does. How you do that first hour, that first 2 hours, that first 20 minutes, whatever it is for each one, really is how sets up how the rest of your day is going to go. It's like it's oil in the machine, getting things ready so that everything really does run smoothly from there on out. 100%. And I really, really recommend that people take notes on what's being said here and try some things because everyone's morning routine really is going to be different. Like for me, workouts in the morning super important. I don't think it's necessarily important for everyone to be productive at work, but for me it is. Jason, I don't know, you're huge on coffee. Maybe the coffee is like the biggest thing for you before you get started. For me, I do it because I like it, but it's not necessarily one of those things that like going to ruin my day if I don't do it.
It's funny as we talk about morning routine. I'm going through my head, what is my morning routine? And it's definitely a curveball when you have kids. And that's where
Oh yeah.
you planning that night before is a huge piece that you said, Tony. And I love that because that is so crucial, whether you have kids or not. It's so important. But then when you do have kids, or maybe you have a pet, it's still a living thing that can throw you that curveball. And now it's just like, all right, how do I help him or her and figure this out? So again, I do something, and maybe Tony, you could correlate to this too. As I always have a plan, but I'm open-minded that things may change, right? And being in your role too, Tony, as a VP of growth, how do you do that? Because obviously you have a morning routine, you have it blocked off, you're ready to rock. But what if something comes in your world and upsets that routine? How do you handle that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think that there's sort of a couple ways to look at it. One is ensuring that you've created a routine and not a crutch, right? Um, this is something that, hey, I'd like to do each morning, but if something happens and I need to shift, or, we got EXPCon or like I'm traveling or whatever it is, like I know that this is not like a crutch for me. Like if this doesn't happen this morning, it's not like I'm off for the entire day, right? It's like, oh, I wasn't able to work out during my workout block. So I guess I'm just screwed today. Like I'll just stay in bed. Like, no, it's and some people do it, it's a real crutch. And that's where you got to be careful. Oh, I didn't get my red light therapy this morning, or I didn't do my cold plunge today, or like I'm just off for the like, no, it's that has become a crutch for you. It's become a weakness for you more so than a strength, right? So I think that those occasions when things like that happen, it actually demonstrates to you that I don't need this. Yes, this is what I prefer to do. Yes, this helps set me on the right track. But the reality is like I don't need this thing to be successful. I don't need the caffeine. I don't need the whatever it is in order to be successful. That's one piece. The other side is there's always a way to make it happen. Okay, maybe I can't get my full hour and a half, 2 hour workout in, but like I can do some push-ups, pull-ups, and run around the block or whatever. Like I can make that happen, right? So it's about making those sort of realistic trade-offs. Or hey, I was planning to take the kids, have them dropped off, but they canceled school, so like now I just do some push-ups and jump rope or whatever. You know what I mean? So like there's always a way to have some sort of trade-off, so you can still check that box if it's something that's really really core to who you are. But if it's not, again, don't let it be a crutch to your life. Don't let it be a crutch to your success. And let me say the because that's always more important. Um, you have to ask yourself sometimes, has anyone ever been successful without doing this thing? Right? And if they have, then that means that success does not necessitate you doing that thing. So when you're looking at it and saying, okay, I have to work out, right? Well, has there ever been someone who's been successful without working out? Okay, so then obviously success in whatever area is not necessitated by me working out. Has there ever been someone that's been successful without meditating? Has there ever been someone that's been successful without drinking caffeine? Has there ever been someone successful without any one of these things that I've sort of baked into my morning routine? And if that is the case, then obviously success is not it is not a requirement that you do these things in order to hit your goal, right? If you could find one example of someone that's hit your goal without it.
Oh, and I like, how you said, is it in the core? Because if it's important to you, you will execute on it. And like you said, you'll make that time, especially for yourself. If you're traveling, hey, I got an early morning flight. I got to be there by noon. Cool. All right. Well, I still gotta get my reps in. I gotta get my mindset. I gotta get my body right. So yeah, very well said with that, man. I love it.
No, 100%. And sometimes, like my tendency is whenever possible, I'll fly out to travel. I'll leave and come back the same day. That because my family time, my kid time with my kids, that is important in the evenings. So I try to come back whenever I can. And that means I have to leave early and then come back, try to get back the same day. So there's been times where I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and work out. You know what I mean? It's like I still got to get my workout in. So, but it's not going to be a full 2 hour workout. Like it'll be like, hey, push ups, pull ups, hit the elliptical, and then like boom, I got to get out the door, right? So leave first thing smoking, and then come back as soon as possible. So, again, there's a way to make it happen if you want to make it happen, but don't let it be a crutch either.
And also, just to throw this in there. We're in real estate. We're a real estate
Oh yeah.
professional,
Oh yeah,
and it's like one of the most unpredictable for me. Anyway, I feel it's one
for
of
sure.
the we're made to adapt to situations, whether it's clients, whether it's the market in general, or interest rates, whatever it is. Um, so guys, if you've been in this for more than what, maybe like a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe, you already know how to adapt to situations. If your morning routine isn't where it needs to be, and you know that, you're probably just making excuses somewhere to
Okay.
not make that happen. You can already do it because it's what you do on a day-to-day basis. Just apply the same principles to your morning routine, get it sorted out, and become a better person. Because at the end of the day, for me, I honestly think that the morning routine is one of those things that will completely change your outlook on everything. And Tony mentioned on one of his four morning routine points, kind of center yourself, whether it's for you, it's a spiritual thing or whatever it is that you need to do. Um, get your heart in the right place. That was one of the things that you mentioned at the beginning, Tony. It was getting your mind and your heart in the right place before you get your day started. And I really, really do that. If you take 30 days and create a morning routine and stick to it for 30 days and really, really put good intention behind it, you will come out a different person, and your business hopefully will also be a little bit better. Um, so yeah, no, honestly, great points that you've touched on there, Tony. Jason, is there anything else from you before we start finishing up here?
Man, I need to go back and reevaluate my morning routine. I got all this energy now that, Tony comes on, just, yeah, let's go. He's
Let's
talking
go.
caffeine, he's talking workouts, he's got it in his tone. I am pumped, I'm ready, man. But that's also what you want to think about. Think about somebody like a Tony or an Ian or, whoever inspires you to get you out of bed and say, man, I'm going to go crush it today. I'm going to go dominate the day, right? And have that mindset before you go to bed. So that way you wake up, you've got the plan, and now you just go back, you execute, and you kick some butt. So, that's it. That's what we want. We want to get you to that next level and rise you up and get you there. And man, Tony, I always love listening to you and being part of whether it's a conversation with you or in the room with you. You always light it up and you always bring the fire, man. So thank you for your leadership and thank you for continue being you, man.
My pleasure, brother. Happy to help anytime I can. So thank you for having me.
Awesome, guys. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this show. I hope that I think I also will play back and listen to take some more notes on this one. As I
For
said,
sure.
morning routine for me, one of the most important things that anyone that's doing their own business can focus on. It will change how the rest of your day goes. And if you need more productivity, you can do it with your morning routine. If you need more energy throughout the day, it starts with your morning routine. You need more time with your family, it all starts with your morning routine. So thank you guys for watching. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope to bump into you soon. Are you going to EXPCon in Barcelona? Any chance?
Oh man, listen, you should talk to Leo. If Leo let me go out there, I absolutely will. But as of right now, he reminds me that it says U.S. growth there. So yeah,
Well, maybe I'll slip him a slide into his DMs and see what we can
there
do.
you
But
go, there
yeah,
you go. But you got Felix though. You got Felix, so you know.
go Felix there. So, yeah, as always, agents, thanks again for watching. We hope to see you again next week in another ICW episode where we try and help you guys just become better people, better realtors, better parents, better daughters, better everything. That's what we're here for. So show some love, and we'll see you in the next one.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.